Hey everybody, I'm Brandon Grasley, and this is Grasley Games. I play games, I open products, and when I open boosters, I read every card in every pack. And I just completed the pre-release for Amonkhet today. It's a sealed pool, you get 6 packs and 1 extra promo card. And I was able to put together something pretty nice, and I ended up going 3-1. I made some misplays in my third game, but and I also got a bunch of land. But hey, let's take a look at what I had here. Now, if you take a look down here, you might notice that I opened up 2 Liliana's Death Majesty, and over here, 1 Gideon of the Trials. Now, that's pretty awesome, and I'm certainly not complaining. That paid for my pre-release and then some. I didn't get both of them out all that often. I had Gideon out twice, and I had Liliana out twice, but maybe 3 times actually with Liliana. So they were great. Liliana, of course, it's 3 black. It's a little bit harder to get out onto the battlefield, and I didn't draw them all that often, but they were both pretty fantastic. So I've sorted here. These are my 2 drops, 3, 4, and 5 drops. You can see I ended up playing black-white. Not only did I get these 3 mythic Planeswalkers, but I also got this Glory-Bound Initiate up here, which is a rare white card as well, which worked out pretty nicely. Let me go through the basic idea of what I ended up with here. I have a bunch of zombies, quite a few of them. Binding Mummy, those are zombies here. This Amonkhet's name gives you +2/+1 for your zombies. It's an instant. A couple other zombies in here. Death Touch Scorpion and Gravedigger, a way to get any creature cards back from the graveyard. And I had some exert stuff going on. So the things that worked really well for me, of course, Liliana and Gideon. But this one right here, Stir the Sands. This is a sorcery. Create 3 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. I don't think I actually played it like that, though. I did cycle it a couple of times. For 3 and a black, you draw the card, and you do get 1 zombie creature token, so that was pretty great. Protection from Heckma. Didn't really use that very much. I don't know if I ever prevented any damage from it, although possibly I did stop somebody from bothering to attack. Supply Caravan. This is a camel. If you play it when you have a tapped creature, you get a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance. This was pretty great. A 3/5 blocker was really helpful. That stalled out one of my opponents for a really long time. He did end up beating me that game, though. Oketra's Attendant. I played this a couple of times, never really got very far with it, though. I did cycle it once as well. Gravedigger, though. Gravedigger's awesome. Bring stuff back from the graveyard, get to play it again. I did 1 Gravedigger to Gravedigger. That was fun. Now this one here, Takrop Elite. This is a bird warrior. It's flying. It's a 2/2. You pay 4 to get it on the battlefield. You can exert it when it attacks. When you do, creatures you control, all creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. That was super helpful because I ended up with quite a few creatures on the battlefield, and then I could exert this guy and make it happen. And then he's a flying 3/3, which is pretty awesome because he does boost himself. Wander in Death. I cycled it a couple of times. Never had a good opportunity to play it. Wasteland Scorpion. A couple of my games it was really helpful for having a Death Toucher on the battlefield. Slowed down the opponent's attacks until I could get through for some more damage. Cursed Minotaur was awesome. Menace 3/2, paid 3 to get it out there, so it's out there fairly early, and Gravedigger brought it back on turn 4 when necessary. And having Menace means I can just get through for damage a lot of the time. It's some evasion, but also because he's got 3 toughness, he was able to take out a solid 2-drop, solid 2 toughness creature at least, and then maybe more. Blighted Bat was pretty good. It's flying 2/1, and you can pay 1 extra to give it haste until end of turn. That was helpful. It's a zombie, so that works well with this other card up here. Those Who Serve as a Zombie, basically a blocker, not much else happening there. I'm going to come back to this one. Gustwalker. Had 2 of these. You may exert Gustwalker as it attacks. When you do, it gets +1/+1 and flying until end of turn. So it's a 2/2 for 2. You can exert it to get 3. So if I'm attacking into a clear board, I was attacking for 2. But if the board wasn't clear, I could put it in the air and attack for 3 every other turn, which is better than nothing. Binding Mummy. This card was fantastic. 2/2 for 2. So again, that's fine all by itself. And whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, you may tap target artifact or creature. I never tapped an artifact, but I did tap lots of creatures down. So you do something like this. You've got, let's say, Blighted Bat is what you're bringing in. You got Cursed Minotaur, something like that, let's say, or even another one of these Gustwalkers. Let's say we do this. You got Binding Mummy, Cursed Minotaur, and Gustwalker. Cursed Minotaur already has Menace, so that's great. It's going to be able to get through. I can pump this one, Gustwalker, to give it flying if I need to, using its exert ability. But I can, if I play a Blighted Bat, I can tap down a creature on my opponent's side, and I can get through with this without exerting, perhaps. The Minotaur was probably already getting through, and then maybe even my Binding Mummy gets through. So that was pretty great. I did that lots and lots, and a couple of times I had 2 of those on the board, so I was able to tap 2 creatures every time I played a zombie. Pair that up with Liliana. She puts a zombie out there for her +1 ability. So +1, create a zombie, mill 2 cards, and tap one of their creatures, or maybe 2. And the last one, Glory-Bound Initiate. This was a rare. You may exert it as it attacks. When you do, it gets +1/+3 and lifelink. So it becomes a 4/4 instead of a 3/1. So it's pretty fragile as a 3/1, but it's a 2-drop that on your 3rd turn, you can attack as a 4/4 lifelinker if the board is clear. So that's pretty fantastic. Okay, so that's what I ended up playing with in my pool. Plus I had, I think I had 9 swamps and 8 plains. It might have been the other way around. It was only one different though for my 17 lands. Okay, let me show you what I had in the rest of my pool, and let's see if I made some good choices. Okay, let's look at the rest of the pool that I've got here. These are all of the colorless and other colored cards, the non-black, non-white cards that I had. But let me show you first. I had a few more black and white cards that I decided not to choose, and you can let me know if you think that these would have been better choices. I've got Pitiless Vizier. I didn't have a lot of cycling, that's why I didn't use that one. Unburden, I've got 2 copies of this. Target player discards 2 cards, or I can cycle it. It costs 1 black. I didn't really want to have the double black cost, and I just don't know if that effect is really worth it. Supernatural Stamina, it's an instant, and a target creature can basically gets +2/+0 and is regenerated without the keyword. Faith of the Devoted, I thought about this one for a while. I put in the that white enchantment instead. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1. If you do, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. I think I had 4 cyclers in the deck, so I decided not to do that. Renewed Faith, instant, gain 6 life. You can cycle it for 2, and when you do, you can gain 2 life if you want to. That didn't really seem like it was super worth it. And Jeru's Resolve, this one was the hardest one to decide. It's only 1 white. I had no 1-drops. Untap target creature, prevent all damage that would be dealt to it this turn, and I can cycle it for 2. So I was really thinking about that with my exert creatures, you know, exert and then untap it. It's still exerted, but available to attack with. So I don't know. I wonder if that would have been a good one to use with my Glory-Bound Initiate to give it, you know, it gets its life link, but then you can do it again the following turn. So anyway, I didn't do that. So let's see the other stuff that I had that I could have used instead of black and white. Now you can see green is the longest, and right here, Channeler Initiate, that was my promo card, the foil promo card that came in the pre-release kit, and it's pretty nice, so I thought about that one. The green's pretty long, and it's got a reasonable curve. There's these Greater Sandworms at 7 mana, and I've got Sheffet Monitor here, a couple of those at 6, but a pretty smooth curve overall. I thought hard about that. Red was very short, didn't really have a whole lot going for it. I thought about splashing it, but with Liliana and Gideon there, I kind of wanted to play with them. So blue, fairly long, pretty good variety. Mostly spells though, not tons of creatures there. So that was definitely not a color to count on in a limited environment when you need to have some creatures on the board. Let me show you the these split cards. I forget what they're called now. This particular one, the Aftermath cards, I guess. I had Spring to Mind, which lets you search for a land card, and then the Aftermath is to draw 2 cards. No thanks. Onward to Victory. Target creature gets +X+0 until end of turn, where X is its power. That can be very powerful. Victory was to give a target creature double strike. So wow, +X and double strike, that'd be great in a red-white deck. And then this one is a rare, Cut to Ribbons. Cut is sorcery speed, deal 4 damage to target creature, and Ribbons is each opponent loses X life. That feels to me like a pretty nice commander card, so I might hang on to that one. Over here in my multicolored cards, Temet, Vizier of Naktaman, Legendary Human Cleric, and at the beginning of your combat, target creature token you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn and can't be blocked. So nothing super fabulous, and I can embalm it for 5. Enigma Drake. Flying. Enigma Drake's power is equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. So that's cool, but pretty slow for limited. So I think I'm going to save that one and put it into my Niv Mizzet commander deck. Shadowstorm Vizier. Flying, whenever you cycle or discard, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn again. Too slow. Didn't have enough cyclers to make that work. The artifacts were like really nothing special at all. I think they were all common even. Oh no, 2 of these are uncommon, but I just didn't really feel like they had anything really going for them. And then, okay, Painted Bluffs. I got 3 copies of Painted Bluffs, including a very pretty foil. I like that card a lot, actually. I like the look of it. I just don't want to use it in an actual deck. And Cradle of the Accursed. Tap for colorless, and I can pay 3 and tap and sacrifice it to get a zombie. I like zombies, but I really like colored mana a lot. So I had a lot of double black and double white, and I couldn't afford to have a colorless source, even if it does grow me a zombie later on. So I think I did the right thing, but hey, I don't know. Maybe I didn't, especially I'm really not so sure about green. So hey, take a look if you like right there. And I'm going to post a link to the deck list in text as well, so you can take a look at all of the other stuff. So just go down to the comments below there, or look in the description, and you'll see all the lists that I used, what I had available, and you can tell me what you think I should have done instead of what I did. Anyway, I went 3-1, so I was happy. I got a few packs, and when I opened those packs, I got some nice cards, including, let me just see if I have it handy here. Not real handy. Oh yeah, these were the rares. I got 3 packs. Harvest Season, which I wanted to have for a commander deck anyway. Anointed Procession, another great commander card. Instead of whenever you would get 1 token, it gets 2 instead. So I didn't have that for during the game, but boy, that would have been nice during the game for all those tokens. And I got Angel of Sanctions, lets you exile a non-land permanent while it's on the board. So anyway, that was my pre-release. Pretty great deal for 32 Canadian dollars. Had a great time, met some people, had some fun games, and looking forward to continuing with Amonkhet. It seems like a pretty fun set. I had an awesome time at Joe's Clockwork Computers in Sault Ste. Marie. So thank you, Joe and Sarah, for being so accommodating and giving us such a great place to play. So thanks very much, everybody. GG. Hit the like and subscribe button. Did I mention that already? Okay, thanks a lot. Bye, everyone.